Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and welcome to This Week in WoW for the week of December 31st, the last day of 2024, New Year's Eve. Before we get started, let's go ahead and thank our Patreon subscribers. We have Mario Casillas, Rep Pally Rocks, Nick Rada, and Peter Burnham. Thank you guys so much for that support. And now we'll go ahead and talk about what's going on in the game before we reflect on this past year here in World of Warcraft. So this week we have time walking, of course, going on for the anniversary. However, worth noting, this is the last week of the anniversary. I mentioned last week, if you have any of these tokens lying around, just go to the thing and use them. Use them on stuff. Use them on time worked badges. This is literally the last week. So you got one last week of the anniversary event, and then time walking probably won't be every single week anymore as well. But we do have time walking going on. We have fireworks celebrations going on for like a week or so, I believe it is. I think it's it's just a couple days. So you have just the 2 days of fireworks celebration going on. That's just fireworks shoot off in the cities if you want to. It's kind of like an RP thing. A lot of the small things are kind of RP type things, but you can check it out if you like. Nothing major to do there. We have World Quest bonus event. This is one I always advocate doing. It's just kind of good to do. It's like effective use of your time, I guess you'd say. The rewards are commensurate with the amount of effort that you put in, or maybe even favors you instead of being even or whatever. The PvP brawl is classic Ashram, probably my least favorite one to do. And then later on in the week, we will come to the end of the Feast or Winter Veil. You do have until the 5th to get your stuff. I did manage to snag the new pet that they added this year. I still do not have them out, which I've been trying to get for a while. Obviously, I've been playing the game for a very long time. But I did manage to snag the new pet that they put out. So did do that, and you'll have a chance to do that. And of course, on that same day, we'll have the beginning of the Darkmoon Fair. One thing I need to do that I've been playing with my alt a lot more during this last few weeks or so of downtime. I've been playing my alt a lot more. I need to go there on my professions and get the free profession knowledge. I mean, it's very good to do at the beginning of expansions in general. And I'm not even close to filling out my tree on even my main character, let alone my alt. So I need to head there and do that. And that's something you can do very, very easily there. You just head there and do it. Do the little quests there at the Darkmoon Fair. Get your profession knowledge. It gives you skill ups as well if you're not maxed out. It's just really, really easy stuff to do there. So that'll be definitely something that I will be trying to do on as many of my alts as I have time to go do it on. That I've been kind of slacking on. I don't think I did it at all last month, for example. I don't even know if I did it on my main character. So something I'm going to be looking to do. Also, for me personally, hopefully I'll get back into the raid this week. We took off 3 raid nights because of holidays. Obviously, tonight is one of those. It's going to be New Year's Eve, and then the 2 days around Christmas last week. And so hopefully Thursday on the 2nd, we will be able to raid. We are on Queen Anserac, Mythic Progress there, and we had phase 1 pretty well done. We'll probably have to relearn that a little bit, intermission and stuff like that, and then the final phase will hopefully not be too bad, especially with all the rings being introduced since we raided last, and more buffs from the raid buff and stuff like that. It should be getting progressively and maybe even much more easy as we head back in there. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Now, let us reflect a little bit on this year in World of Warcraft, from a year of 2024, which ended up being like a really, really good year for World of Warcraft. We had at the very beginning of the year, we had Plunderstorm being introduced, right? The whole idea of Plunderstorm, it might not have been at the very beginning of the year, but towards the beginning of the year, we had Plunderstorm being introduced because we had the end of Dragonflight, right? And we had the introduction to, we're going to get this World Soul Saga and all this stuff. So there's tons of hype all year round for World of Warcraft. BlizzCon was hugely successful, at least the World of Warcraft portion of it was. And all just positive news coming out all the time in World of Warcraft. Vibes are positive. All the numbers look positive in World of Warcraft. You had the Mop Remix. How could I forget Mop Remix, which was wildly popular. I had fun doing it. I completed a whole character. I got all the stuff that I wanted to get, and but it was wildly popular, which I honestly thought was surprising. I thought it'd be a little bit more niche, but it ended up, I think, being more popular than Plunderstorm. And I love Plunderstorm, so I was kind of on the opposite side of that. I did both, but I didn't love Mop Remix as much as it really truly was loved by the community. So that was kind of surprising to me. And we just had like all this just great stuff all year round. There was very little downtime. Like right now, this downtime actually feels weird, and it's only been like a few weeks. And it's mostly because the Siren Isle patch wasn't that big of a patch, and there was like nothing big with it. But when 11.1 comes out, we have all kinds of class reworks with 11.1. We have all kinds of quality of life improvements, all kinds of stuff coming out. And of course, like right before that, we're going to have Plunderstorm coming back again for all those who do enjoy Plunderstorm. So it's like we have this like little bit of a downtime now, mostly because the 0.7 patch wasn't that big, but it's just been really crazy just how consistent this entire year's been in World of Warcraft. For me personally, this year has led to a lot of growth with this YouTube channel, especially. This is something I do as a hobby because I'm the biggest thing I do is guides, like Rapelli guides, secret finding guides. I do these guides, and I like to help people. Why? Because when I first really got back into being a sweaty World of Warcraft player, like in Legion, like the reality was I couldn't find a Rep Paladin guide on YouTube that was worth watching. And so I started making my own, right? And I'm like, well, I think I can make guides on some of these other things too. And there's certain guides that I'm like really proud of, like the Deaths of Chromie guide I did back in Legion, I believe. Like I'm very proud of that. I put a lot of work into that. Like I was really bad at making videos back then, and like that I actually felt like I did really good on that, even looking back at it. And then like a guide I did on how to solo Wintergrasp, because I happened to be trying to farm something from the Wintergrasp raid or whatever. And the Alliance just never had it. And so I'm like, I had to try to solo this thing. And so I soloed it. I'm like, I'm going to make a guide how to solo this thing, because it was really hard. And I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to do this unless somebody tells them how. And so like, I'm very proud of that guide, even though that's like a completely niche thing. It doesn't have like that many views, I don't think. I don't go back and check it, but I can't imagine it has too many views. Like not like tens of thousands or anything. And like, yeah, so like certain stuff like that, like that's what I like to do. I got to make a ton of guides this year, whether a lot of Rep Paladin stuff. There's changes to Rep Paladin, the talent trees, all this kind of stuff, right? Updates to reworks, all this kind of stuff. So I got to do just tons of stuff that I really enjoy doing, and it was really cool. And it made me think like, wow, man, I could maybe even do more with this channel. I could, but it all stems, at least for me, because as it is like a hobby at this point still, like, yeah, if I got like 100,000 subscribers, then maybe I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this full time, and literally every day I'll put out a video or something like that. But like, maybe I could get to that point someday. I don't know. But if I did, that would be great. And when stuff is positive with WoW, that is a lot more likely for me to put the effort in to do that, because I'm having fun playing. Because if I'm not having fun playing, then I'm not going to play that much. And then therefore I'm not going to make videos about it, right? And so, it's just been a very good year for World of Warcraft. It's almost like there was a golden age of World of Warcraft. Legion like started to kick that back off, but then kind of simmered back down, right? Shadowlands, of course, was like a big dud. BFA was kind of fine. Shadowlands really killed a lot of that momentum. And then it like kind of rebirthed back. And a lot of people are hyped for the new stuff because there's actually good stuff happening and stuff that like people are having fun doing, and just kind of listening to the community, making classic a thing, and like basically letting the whole OnlyFans thing happen. They basically made the new hardcore servers for the OnlyFans thing, and it's not a long lasting thing. These are streamers. They're not going to play the game forever, but like for a few months, it's like super hype for those players. It's super hype for the classic community. And so, like, I just love all that stuff. I love the whole thing going on with the Plunderstorm, with the remixes, with, this random classic stuff that they will reboot. With all this stuff put together, it just kind of creates positivity and hype around the game. And I just think it's really good. And it was just a really fun year to play World of Warcraft, if I'm completely honest. Yes, of course, you can nitpick. You can find stuff that wasn't as good. You can find, this wasn't as good as I like it to be. I can nitpick as well. I could be like, well, I think the mythic raids are slightly too hard when they release, even though I understand that they're releasing them for the Race to World first. You know, I still kind of wish they were a little bit nerfed when they first came out, blah, blah, blah. Like, I could nitpick, but ultimately, you know, generally the vibes, the sentiment is good. And I think WoW is just in like a really cool place right now. And we'll see if that continues. If it continues, it will be if they just keep doing what they're doing, right? If they keep listening to the players, keep making improvements that are suggested, then I think that'll continue, because, you know, we're just kind of like in this era now where people are like, oh yeah, it's not lame to play World of Warcraft anymore. It's not necessarily cool to play World of Warcraft, but it's like not lame to play World of Warcraft. The introduction of delves, which I've been thinking about a lot lately, the introduction of delves has seemingly been such a great thing. I've seen so many positive comments from people saying like delves actually give me something to do, and like I didn't realize that the market for delves was actually that high. And honestly, I might start thinking about delves more and doing videos on delves more, because I think that's a completely underserved group of people. Honestly, if I'm completely honest with it. So yeah, just all kinds of interesting things going through my mind, all kinds of interesting things about the game where I've just felt like, you know, compelled to play the whole time. I didn't even mention the secret finding thing with the Fell Cycle and the 20th anniversary and like all kinds of stuff, man. It's been great, and I hope everyone else is having fun too. I hope at least something was fun, right? Like, you might not be like me where you can nerd out about all of it. Like, oh man, I love Plunderstorm. Oh man, I love Mop Remix. Oh man, I love secret finding. You know, I kind of happen to like all these things. Oh man, I love that Rep Paladin got reworked and all this new stuff, and the talent and the hero talents and are really cool. Like, I get that, like, not all those things are for everybody, but I do hope that something, you know, resonated with you over this past year in the game, because there were so many possible things to resonate with you. I hope something did, even if it was a classic community type thing. I hope something in the game resonated with you this year, because I do think that they're trying, and I think they're succeeding. But, you know, you could disagree with that. But yeah, that'll be it for this one, guys. We will, if you only ever watch these videos, we'll see you again in the next year, in 2025. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. If you're already a subscriber, I encourage you to check out the Patreon. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.